The manuscript of Omar ibn Said signifies the spread of knowledge about the African Muslim community, specifically as it relates to the American slave trade, religion, and race relations. The other aspect of the library's collection is the African Islamic Manuscript Collection, a series containing such documents as the visionary religious Arabic manuscripts of Sheikh Sanasi, a mystical account of the creation of the world and of mankind by Muhammad Dakur, and various translations of the Omar ibn Said narrative. The attainment and dissemination of all of these required years of correspondence between significant missionaries, ethnographers, historians, and scholarly specialists. At the core of this company was Theodore Dwight, a New Yorker, abolitionist, and founding member of the American Ethnological Society, who campaigned for a better understanding and appreciation of African Islamic culture.
He was interested in introducing African culture to this country, so people will understand better, the background of the African people, and not just seeing them as slaves. So he collected a number of important manuscripts written by slaves of his time, and through the help of various people, including two presidents of Liberia. So, therefore we have now a collection of 42 items, and each one is unique in its own way.
Long before each of Dwight's pieces could find a permanent place in the archives, the individual documents passed through dozens of hands. An extensive and interconnected chain of acquisition brought the collection to its current home. Beginning with Theodore Dwight, the manuscripts first went to David Bliss, a notable missionary, founder of the prestigious American University of Beirut, and fellow founding member of AES. Shortly after the documents were returned to Dwight, they passed through the offices of the first and second presidents of Liberia, Joseph Jenkins Roberts and Stephen Allen Benson, respectively. After the documents were given back once again, they were studied by numismatist Howland Wood, likely from his home state of Massachusetts. The collection was then given to Dr. F. M. Musa and Isaac Bird in order to be translated from Arabic into English. After quite a number of years with them, the papers went to accomplished historian John Franklin Jameson in Washington, D.C. The last known individual to have the Omar ibn Said manuscript was Derek Beard, a philanthropist and art collector based in California. This process of analyzing, translating, and simply appreciating the collection created a comprehensive web of people, all dedicated to scholarly integrity and sharing knowledge. Finally, in 2002, the full collection began its journey to the library.
The original owner, Derek Beard, was an art collector, and he first displayed the Omar ibn Said manuscript here at the library in 2002 at a symposium. So when the materials were made available at Sotheby's, the library decided to acquire them and use library funding to acquire those manuscripts in 2017.
When broken down, the library's basic acquisition process is really only 5 steps: identification, approval and funding, exchange and partnerships, copyright deposit, and purchase. But it's not actually so straightforward.
It sounds like a very simple thing to say, but this is actually a very pretty big project involving a lot of different offices collaborating together over a period of time in order to achieve that goal of eventually presenting the collection online to the general public, to anyone who is interested in looking at.
While the mechanism and the infrastructure for how we make it happen may have changed, the purpose behind it is the same. Building the collection, building up the relationship, and you do that through communication. And that communication means improves with each generation and technology improvements.
The library is a research institution, meaning like we have, millions and millions of materials that are available for scholars, but we also have these materials for education purposes. So teachers will be able to come in and use the Omar bin Said collection for their classroom. They can use this collection, design a history class. Scholars can come in, look at these materials from a different perspective and write their scholarly papers or publications. So, and the general public can just come and look at the collection and just simply learn more about the history of this country, about slavery. So definitely the collection is of great value to to our people, not just now. It's also important for generations to come.
So what has happened is this is just one set of documents that's added to that research, that rich research field for anyone to explore. And it also helps establish either boundaries, or it helps break down boundaries among those disciplines to say that they really are not that separate. They all begin to meld. And the beauty of having access to a broad array of content is that it allows the researcher, the scholar, the student to be able to pull these pieces together and see how they do overlap, how they intertwine, how they meld, and how there is likely no real strong line of demarcation among all of these disciplines.
Well, you have to think about it. If Theodore Dwight did not put an emphasis on this collection, on this manuscript, if he did not correspond with others, this manuscript may not have survived. It was his effort to retain, to keep this manuscript, to bring in other scholars to write about, to translate, to communicate, and to retain this collection that made it possible for the manuscript in a way to survive. And so, as you see, there are the creators, the one who has actually written the manuscript, Omar bin Said, and then there are the enablers who enable those materials to be made public. And the Library of Congress is doing the same thing by creating a website, by making these materials available. We enable the learning process about the society, about Omar bin Said.